kick us off?
Sure. Are we ready?
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back in, friends. Francisca.
We're going to wait a minute, Wendy, for Joan.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Larry Costa.
Join the meeting.
I see Joan now, so are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready, Wendy. Go ahead and start us up.
Okay. So we're going to call the meeting to order. Is there any citizen comments at this time? Fran? I cannot hear.
It's very quiet.
David, do you know, are there any citizen comments or anything?
There aren't any written ones. We have a 512, but he's not coming. They're not coming on audio.
Oh, okay.
Can you get him, Fran? Okay, so Wendy, there are none.
Okay, all right. So then we'll go ahead and move on to items for consideration. So item 3A is a resolution, and it is authorizing a venue project pursuant to Chapter 334, Texas Local Government Code as amended, designating methods of financing for projects subject to voter approval and other matters in connection thereof.
And we have Stephanie with us. She's the one being given us guidance along with Mark McCliney with Samco. So what you have before you today is called, we call it the Comptroller's Resolution. I don't know if that's the official name of it, but so if we go into the August meeting where we would select to go to special election, you would have to do this step prior to that. You're basically passing this resolution and seeking comptroller's approval. And I'm going to kick this over to Stephanie to she can fill in the details on that.
Thanks, David. So my name is Stephanie Leiby, and I'm an attorney with Norton Rose Fulbright, and our firm does serve as bond counsel for the city of Port Aransas in connection with the bonds. And as David said, we have been working with Mark McCliney, who is the city's financial advisor, in conjunction with this proposed venue project. And as David alluded to, Before you can undertake a venue project or call an election to vote a venue project and any related taxes, the statute does require that you first go to the comptroller's office to obtain a financial determination letter. And so the action before you all today is a resolution that would kind of signal your intent to undertake the venue project, and then that resolution goes to the comptroller for them to determine whether or not the venue project itself would have a negative financial impact on the state. And then after you get that letter of approval from the comptroller's office, you would then be authorized to call a venue election for this project. And as David said, the deadline for, considering and calling that election is August 17th.
Right, which is a couple days before council, so we would have to most likely call a special meeting for that.
Okay, but we can authorize the resolution tonight if council chooses to get Mark or Stephanie and her team to move forward to get the request from the comptroller, correct?
Correct. That's what this resolution does. It gives guidance for us to approach the comptroller.
And Stephanie, what do you think the response time will be? Do you think we'll have it back in time to schedule it, for a special meeting?
So we'll absolutely have it back in time. We've actually already been in contact with the comptroller's office and with the timing associated with the request and the fact that they are still working remotely. The comptroller's office has reviewed a draft of the resolution. And so we've let them know that if city council adopts this resolution tonight, we will provide them with an executed copy just upon our receipt of the same. And so we expect that after we send them, the final executed resolution, they could turn their letter around in just a couple of business days. So I'm thinking 1 to 2 business days after we're able to provide them with an executed copy, we should be able to have their determination letter.
Okay. Do we have any feedback one way or the other what their determination letter would be? We feel that it would be positive or?
Well, I think based on past guidance, I do think that we are expecting it to be positive. If you recall, the city undertook a similar request in connection with this venue project a couple of years ago. And at that time, the city did authorize this letter or this resolution. The resolution was provided to the comptroller, and we did get guidance that allowed us to go ahead and call the venue election. At that time, it was, shortly before Hurricane Harvey. And because of that hurricane at the time, the city decided not to go forward with the election at that time. So this is just revisiting that same venue project. And so I think based on the past guidance and the approval that was received back in 2017, we are expecting similar approval this time.
And since it's not state, there's no state funding involved, so I think we have a good chance.
I have just one question to ask, and that's, we're selling this as a rec center, and it's something the people of Port Aransas have wanted. And yet I look at section 3, which says it will not be primarily used for community, civic, and charitable events attended only by residents in the community.
Joan, you're back on mute.
We're going to have to make that very clear when we do this, if we go forward with it with a vote.
Joan, I mean, the step one is that we don't call this a rec center.
Right.
It's an events venue, and we
Right.
would most likely hire a chamber quasi city employee that would be a special events coordinator, and they would be the one bringing in tournaments, art, everything from sporting events, boat shows. You could do just about anything, but we would have a special events coordinator bringing in those events and putting the heads in beds.
Right. So we'd have to call it a special events.
Yes,
facility,
it's a venue
whatever.
event center, not just a rec center.
Right.
could even be used for all kinds of things, right? I mean, it's not necessarily just sports, but it could be used for other events and venues, Hooping Crane Festival, arts events, whatever, just.
Exactly. You can do music, you can do weddings, you can do, you know, any event you can dream up.
Okay. Are any other council comments or thoughts about the resolution? Questions for Stephanie?
So Wendy, motion was made by Bruce and seconded by Beth.
Okay, awesome. I did not hear that, so I appreciate you telling me that. All right, there's
Yeah.
a motion and a second approved on the floor. Fran, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Holt,
Yes.
David, is she, I cannot hear.
yeah, she
so-
called Mayor Pro Tem Moore
Okay, yes, yes.
and Chuck Crawford.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Now we got one
So-
more B.
No. We got a B? Where's B?
It's just,
Sorry, Fran, I know you're not muted, but
Oh.
we just can't hear you.
Okay, we do have an item B, Wendy.
All right, perfect. All right, item B is discuss and take action to appoint a chairman of the Recreational Development Corporation pursuant to Article 4, officers, Section 4.04, chairman of the board. And if you can, those of you who are in council chambers, maybe speak up or let David repeat what you have to say, because I feel Joan's pain from her recent Zoom calls. You can't hear anybody else, so.
Yeah, I agree. I can't hear anything either.
I nominate Ms.
So we have a nomination for Beth in a second.
Okay, that sounds great. So then, Fran, can you call roll?
Yes.
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 There's the mayor.
Yes.
Okay, so item 4 is city council comments and items for future consideration.
Help.
Amen. Anything else? Okay, we will adjourn the meeting and y'all can get on to your next meeting.
So the
Be
other one
safe.
is a different link.
Okay.
Be safe.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Be
Bye.
safe.
Okay.